All right, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, a great millstone, and honors and salutations to all you Akim out there that's laboring in the truth and sincerity without wavering. And this is another lesson, and call it the nuclear missile, the elephant in the room. All right, which is which is, there's a few elephants, but the nuclear missile is one of the last elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? That term elephant in the room is means that there's a like you might have an issue that everybody sees, but people tend to overlook it or act like it's not right there. You know, and for years, there's been debate. You had the Cuban Missile Crisis. You had different situations happen during the Cold War. You had the arms race, which is all prophecy, you know. But people, and like there's a movie that came out. I think I might have used a clip maybe a couple years ago, but brothers pretty much probably seen the movie. If not, it's a good movie. It's called The Day After. The Day After. I remember watching it back when I was in seventh grade, and the apostles, they remember it. Other elders remember it. And if you get a chance to watch it, Esau's going off because there ain't gonna be no day after. And as I'm reading the scriptures, how the Most High is gonna basically, like we've been telling you, ultimately, all right, the end game of America is after the Lord comes back, and because the Lord is gonna be destroying Esau too. He's gonna be like the scriptures say, he's gonna be shooting fire out of his, the mouth of the chariots. They're gonna, be destroying while the angels, the Lord and the angels are delivering the elect. They're gonna be destroying Esau's air force. To tell you that in the 19th chapter of Revelations, right? And various other scriptures, 2nd Ezra 13. Okay, but ultimately what the Most High is gonna do is he's gonna shoot his arrows, because remember, this is the Most High's weaponry, these missiles. You see, so there's not gonna be a day after. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me I'm gonna come right back to here. Let me get the other scripture in Isaiah, just to set the tone. Was it 56? No, not 56. No, 54. Pardon me. All right. So this is Isaiah 54, and I'll get to the point. Verse 16. It says, behold. Well, I'll start at 14. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Meaning, this is the time that we're coming into, the kingdom of heaven. Because when Yahweh Shai come back to redeem his elect, which we're hoping that we're the elect, we're the hopeful elect, as Apostle Paul always says, we're hoping that, we're of that number. In righteousness shall thou be established. So that speaks for itself. There's not going to be no more wicked ass Israelites. It's not going to be no more false prophets. It's not going to be no more Judas goats. No more deranged, delusional, bugged out Jakes thinking that they in the truth. It's not going to be none of that, man. All our people should be righteous. You ain't worrying about Jake scheming on you, trying to steal from you, rob from you, trying to set you up with this devil, with Esau, being an agent, and all other kind of wickedness, man. You ain't got to worry about that. And righteousness shall thou be established. So that's what's coming with the real Israelites. It says, thou should be far from oppression. See? And that's not right now. Right now, we're in we at the apex of oppression now, man. With this whole thing with the COVID-19, which is, I still believe it to be a Trojan horse for the chip, ultimately, man. Which is the mark of the beast that's spoken of in Revelations. The 13th chapter, 14th chapter, and a few other places, right? I believe that this was a Trojan, and it still is. And I believe that they're doing trial with the phase 1 opening, all the different municipalities. They got different ordinances and this, that, and the third, and they're trying out the tracer apps and everything. I believe that because they want to chip the people up. And I think the brother in Texas did a video on it. But one of the brothers, the apostles that sent me the video. I mean, not the video, the actual screenshot of this devil, Johanna, and he's doubling down on being a Judas goat. Basically, that's what it to me. He's like, fuck it, whatever y'all say, he's gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. He figured he made his bed. He is well known that he spoke against the prophecies. He made a lot of blasphemous statements as far as the mark of the beast. The Lord had the mark of the beast. Everybody had the mark. Solomon, this one, that one, King David. The Lord himself had the mark of the beast. John the Baptist was not in the truth. So they said a lot of blasphemous stuff. That's not scripture. That's not backed up by the Bible. That's actually against the scripture. So him being the anti-Messiah or the anti-Mashiach or the anti-Christ, as the scriptures say, he's doubling down on it, and he's saying, that we got to stop listening to these crazy people who say these things, comparing it to back. He's saying when the invention of the television came out, they were saying that was the devil. The devil was up in there. Well, little did this fool knows is yes, it was. They actually, the elites, and the Elder Anap goes into this. The elites look at the television as Satan's altar. And how do you think Esau what you think is the main tool that Esau used to manipulate people in the and basically to indoctrinate them is through the TV, and that's why in what's that movie? Is it 1884? In the beginning, when they're all looking at the screen with the guy sitting there telling them, they all chanting and they're listening to the I forget the guy, he's sitting there telling them, pumping them up or whatever, right? Because why? They use witches' prophecy as well. That's something else. I'm pretty sure that idiot doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? But they do use the TV. That's why you think these children are so rebellious and effeminate. They got the boys are being girls, the girls are being dudes and dykes. Because why? The imagery from the television, from them putting all these shows out there, you know what I'm saying, showing the boy princes and so forth and so on, predictive programming. All of that's all part. So yeah, the devil is inside there. But now, if you got the whole armor of the Most High on, you can withstand the wiles of the devil, all the trickery. You got, if you covered up in the truth, the devil's not gonna be able to affect you. You understand? You could flip like with the computer. Yeah, it's all kind of wickedness, all kind of madness on the internet. But it also too, you can use it for righteousness, such as to teach the word of the Most High, to gather information. You see, so that's I went down that road, but that's how you're gonna have people like that. So now they set up this thing because this is something that they want to do with the chip, right? And they got people. Everybody's been worried about, oh man, the vaccine. We need a vaccine. You got people that are fucking out of their mind. You see, and people are not realizing even that damn wicked ass nigga calling himself a general, right? Which he ain't a general, man. The general from the insurance commercial is more of a general than Johanna. The general that do the commercial with Shaq, go to the general, say some time. That he's more of a general than Johanna. But anyway, that fool gonna actually sit there and say, stop believing people telling you about a microchip and it being, because why? He's gonna tell you to take it. And that was the whole purpose of what Esau's doing, because pressure from above, pressure from beneath. And it's working fine because people are stressed out. You got people that want to go back to their normal life. You got people willing to accept the new norm where you can only have 5 people, 10 people or whatever in the store at a time. And you got to have a face mask on and you got to stand a certain distance amongst, they just how you say it, they just got people ready to be herded in like cattle. That's what you do with the cattle. You put them in line, you line them up and tell them, you section them off. Look, you got this part, the Roman, all right? You got to come through here so we can do the branding. right? They get them all in line so they can line up for the branding. Well, that's what they're doing with the people, man. But now, again, the elephant in the room, with all this being said, a lot of attention's being paid attention to the, Trump and all his antics and everything, him taking hydrocortisone or whatever the fuck it is, all these different things that are happening. You still got people, they're doing all these Instagram parties and everything because you got people that don't want to really acknowledge what's really going on. You got people that want to be in, dream world, right? People that don't want to really wake up to reality. You got them trying to figure out how they're going to savage sports, right? How they're going to set up the NBA, the NFL, golf, this, that, and the third. You see what I'm saying? So meanwhile, people fell asleep on the fact that, wait a minute, China was just doing a bunch of nuclear drills. North Korea was definitely doing a bunch of nuclear drills. And now all of a sudden, Kim Jong-il possibly been dead. They probably could have assassinated. Who knows what happened? But everything just changed with this coronavirus, and people, don't even realize what's going on behind the scene on how this nuclear war is escalating back all over again. So it says 15, behold, they shall, Salak, let me read 14 again. In righteousness shall thou be established, thou shalt be far from oppression. Meaning the Lord is going to deliver us up out of this fucking hellhole America. Because right now, like I said, it's nothing but oppression. They want to crack down. They want to try to squeeze out, really eliminate Jake. So it's no coincidence that the reports are more Jakes are being affected by the coronavirus or whatever, which are, duh. Everybody knows about the Georgia Guidestone and so forth and so on. So, yeah, that's, they plan, but they don't realize is that the Lord is going to throw a monkey wrench in their plan, and he's going to stop them right in the midst of this whole thing of trying to set up this new world order. Right as they're crowning their success, which that's what they're pretty much doing. And this coronavirus is a big part that they use because it's a game changer. All right, it shifted just like 9/11. That was a big game changer. It shifted the laws, the way that people conducted themselves, the way people did things, the way America did things, the way the world wars were being able to, they was able to make so much money off of it. There was a lot of profit from 9/11. It was a great profit, actually. A lot of even movies and spin-off, you know what I'm saying? So same thing with this coronavirus. Now this is the next level or the next phase, as they like to say, right? All right. It says, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror it shall not come near thee. And that goes with Psalms the 91st chapter, because the Most High is going to link us up, Lord willing, if we have that number, the elect, we're going to be delivered by the chariots, the so-called UFOs. And, more Israelites should be speaking about the so-called UFOs, because that's the chariots of the Lord. All right, and that's a very important part of the prophecy. And now going back to the nuclear missile, it was this was a video Pastor Ramos sent me. We used to speak about it back in the days, and I'm not sure if this is the same exact one, but the one that he sent me, it was I'll say a commander that was working on these nuclear missiles, the site in the silo in the earth. He was a guy that if he got the call, he was the guy that pushed the buttons and set it off. So what happened back in 69, if I'm not mistaken, which is heavy in itself, that year. But a chariot, which they would call a UFO, and this was classified information back then. A chariot had appeared over that base and was standing there. They was out there like marveled and scared because it was a big bright red light the guy was explaining, and all of a sudden, that while the chariot was there, it seized control over the launch pad. They couldn't operate, so if they were under attack, they wouldn't have been able to fire their missiles back. They couldn't. They know that whatever was inside that so-called UFO, which we know it was the Lord, the Most High, they took control over those missiles. You see, they took total control, and then they found out that another nuclear silo, another nuclear missile site, had the same thing happen a week prior, where the chariots, the angels went over there and they shut them out from the launch codes, and they couldn't do nothing with the missiles. So, as we always been saying, through the Spirit of the Lord, those missiles, the Lord is going to cause those missiles to be shot off. That's not a hard thing. People talk about, no, there's not going to be a nuclear war. And yeah, you know what? The elites, even as evil as they are, they wanted to use these nuclear missiles just to shake things up, all right, and instill fear. You see, but they never want, because of the magnitude of destruction. It's not going to be like the atomic missiles. You see, but the thing is, they don't have control over these things, all right. And these are the monkey wrenches that the Most High is going to, throw at them. And again, that's going to be the end game of it all. So it says, "Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake." And that's what they're doing. They're plotting against us. But the Lord said that they're going to fall. So that's why we're not supposed to be afraid at these times or whatever. Really, these are exciting times overall. If you want to get technical about it, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and we all have, I mean, even though we're praying and hoping that we make it, but shit, we happy, man. This bitch is about to be burnt to the ground, man. The Heavenly Father is about to burn Babylon to the ground. Now check this out, 16. "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth an instrument for his work." So the Lord said he created the smith, meaning the Most High set these scientists up to get the knowledge to create all these new nuclear missiles, these hypersonic nuclear missiles, all these missiles that Donald Trump is bragging about, Russia's bragging about. The Most High allowed them to create these missiles, man. He said that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, because the Most High's work is what? To destroy America off the face of the earth. All right? And it said, "And I have created the waster to destroy." All right? And that's a name for these nuclear missiles, man. The Lord said, "I have created the waster to destroy." All right? And then when you go in Ezekiel, it tells you how the Lord is going to take control over the arrows. Which arrow, when you read in the scriptures, when it speaks about the arrows, sometimes it's speaking about the nuclear missiles. You see? So the Most High is going to take control over those whole missiles. So now in this article from, I think this is from The Guardian, right? It says U.S. security officials considered return to nuclear testing after 28 years hiatus. So, like I said, this is big, because this is the end game at the end of the day. When the scriptures say it is done, that means all the missiles are going to be shot off. All right? So, for the United States talking about to start doing nuclear testing, especially in a time like now, and to show you that this is a pandemic, although, yeah, there's all tons of viruses out there. We come in contact with all kind of viruses, man. That's why even on, when the Lysol, which everybody went super Lysol crazy, and now you can't get no damn Lysol, right? But it tells you that with the Lysol, it kills corona. It says it kills 99.9% of flu. So, and for them to sit there and say the coronavirus is a virus that there's no cure, that's just them, putting more fear on the people and scaring people to wear them stupid ass masks and they did it back during the Spanish flu and all this and that. This is okay. Getting people conditioned to this new norm, which is a part of the New World Order. And then meanwhile, you're not even thinking about what they're doing behind the scenes, because if this was such a big deal, which obviously they shut down things that haven't been shut down for ages. The St. Patrick's Day parade, the Olympics, sports, the stock market was shut for a minute. You see? So if this is so serious, why the hell are they talking about nuclear testing and everything? Because they know that eventually those nuclear missiles they're in all these countries, they know eventually that they're going to be shot off. Or the Most High could be having them just ready things subconsciously too, because remember, the Most High controls both sides at the end of the day. All right, but it says U.S. officials have debated whether to carry out the first U.S. nuclear test in 28 years as a way to pressure Russia and China into making a trilateral arms control deal, according to congressional aides and former officials. And remember, they broke the, what was it, the INF treaty, the nuclear treaty they had, which really they never was following them treaties anyway, especially the United States, and you can't make no deals with this devil, you know. And when you read it, I think it's in here or in the other article I got, it tells you how Russia they're not really interested in making no more deals with the United States, especially concerning the nuclear missiles. And China definitely ain't interested, especially after all of the shit that they just went through with them sitting there blaming them, saying, Trump's blasting them and saying that they're responsible for the nuclear destruction. They're responsible for the coronavirus, that they didn't share information, this, that, and the third. So they're definitely not interested in doing no deals with with the United States. And now this is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, and I'm gonna go to 20. It says, "He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him." And now this is demonstrated, and we got to keep bringing up the fact of what they did to the Native American Indians, man. Because again, this is how Esau, with his new speech, this new world order, they sweep all of their wickedness, all the atrocities. They don't want to leave no type of a trail, right, to all the wicked. They think that's how they absolve themselves of massacre, genocide, destroying nations. By what? Erasing it from the history, not speaking on it, right? Speaking like, getting people to not want to talk about it, right? But now it said he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. Now these other nations, they know Russia, China, Iran, they know how the United States been handling their business for years, all right? And that's why when, it gets thick, they throw that back in their face. They say, wait a minute, man, you're the same people that committed biological warfare on the Native American Indians. You gave them all type of diseases, smallpox, malaria, all of that. You see? That's what you gave them after they took care of you and helped you live off the land. Wait a minute, you the ones that brought so-called Negroes over here as slaves and basically massacred a lot of them on the way, bringing them over here, destroyed their heritage and separated their families and everything, to the point whereas you got the so-called Negroes is all scattered and all messed up. Families all broken down. So these other nations, they know this about these devils. They know that he signed all these treaties with the Native American Indians and broken all these peace treaties. So why would they want to really enter into a trilateral nuclear arms agreement again with this devil that hasn't been following the agreement? Here it is. They've been constantly, like Trump speaking about the missile that he created that's 23 times faster than the fastest nuclear missile that Russia got, and I believe China got. And these things don't just happen overnight. You understand? So here it is. They're policing the world because, in the scriptures tell them, they weigh the violence of the world in their hand. They're policing the world. As a matter of fact, I'll get that real quick. They're policing the world, telling them, Iran and all these other countries, no, shame on you. You've been hiding missiles. You can't be making missiles. Meanwhile, they're making missiles. You see? Then they try to make it seem like Russia broke the deal, but the United States broke the deal. So what's the use of making another deal? Now, this is Psalms 58 in verse 1. It says, "Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons of men?" Speaking about who? Esau. Because Esau doesn't judge righteously, man. Although they present themselves as they're, looking out for everyone's best interest. They're for humanitarianism. They're for all the people. This, that, and all this bullshit, which is all bullshit, because if they were for all the people, they wouldn't destroy people and kill people, especially innocent people, innocent villages. All right, when you check the history of all these wars, and there's many of wars, there's still wars that's just been ongoing. All right, and that's because why? It's money, which is totally unconstitutional. All right, and it's beyond telling these devils that that's not constitution. You're violating my constitutional rights. They don't give a goddamn about your constitutional rights, man. They come in basically with that piracy, the law of the high sea. They come in, look, man, we gonna do it because we fucking say so, because we can do it And like the scriptures say, it's in the power of their hand to do so. So that's why these devils is rolling on that real gangster shit, if you will, for lack of better words. In other words, they're going to sit there and come nice or diplomatic, act like they're your friend, or they're going to just straight up steamroll right over you, pull you right out of your house. And that's the prophecy as well in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. So these things that we're seeing are prophecies, man. All right, it's nothing but prophecy. And again, speaking about the nuclear missiles, which is the elephant in the room, because a lot of people, they don't even like to talk about it, or they act as if it doesn't exist. All right, but behind the scenes, these other nations, why you think they've been doing drills and everything? Because it's a real deal, man. You got people that don't even think nuclear missiles even exist anymore. They think that they disappeared, showing you how simple and bugged out people are, man. But verse 2, it says, yea, in heart you work wickedness, you weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. So the agenda of these devils is some type of wickedness anyway, man. They never, even though they might act nice or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that's what the devil's supposed to do for you anyway. You go back to Psalms to tell you as soon as they peace and safety, but war was in their heart. You know what I'm saying? Like in their mind, in the spirit of these devils, okay, and particularly these Americans, as well as the rest of these devils, Esau is a devil too, because he separates himself, calls, oh no, we're German, oh no, we're Italian, no, we're this, we're that, we're a red-blooded American. Esau is fucking Esau, all right? Esau is Esau, okay? The bottom line. But, as far as America, because according to the prophecy, the whole America is going to be destroyed to where there's not going to be no inhabitants over here in America. Now, in these other countries, parts of these countries are going to be destroyed. Israel, where them rats are, that's going to be destroyed, but it's going to be built back up because the Most High, that's the motherland, and the Lord's going to reestablish Jerusalem in righteousness. No more of that, pink city and all that madness they got going on over there, man, which just further proves that those cannot be the people of the Heavenly Father. Those are not the real Israelites, because look at the madness that they're doing over there. Kosher pig and all that. Nah, that's some wicked bullshit, man. It says, yea, in heart you work wickedness, you weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right, and that's the power of these devils. Okay, and again, where do they administer these lies from? Through the fucking the tube, through the TV. You see, through the TV. They always have their politics. They got them on there more and more now since this coronavirus thing hit, because they want to what? Make sure they keep feeding the people bullshit and keep people asleep. And that's what Esau does through his media, man. It keeps people asleep. People sitting there worrying about, should I stockpile toilet paper, this, that, and the third? Oh my God, how am I going to eat? But not even realizing that, wait a minute, man, there's a whole lot more bigger problems, man. Okay? Hell, you got race riots that are popping off. You got insurrections with these militias and other factions, of Esau and the government that's splitting up, that's going against each other. Even the devil is divided against itself, man. Which in Matthew the 12th chapter, our Lord Yahweh Shai said, how shall his kingdom stand if Satan be divided against Satan? All right, so that's how we know that we're at the end, and that it's not going to go too much further. All right, the Most High knows the exact time, but we see that America is out of time, pretty much. So now we'll go back to let's see. You know what? I mean, this was from the it was another point where they were speaking about the new, they call it the New START agreement, new this, new that, which is the same treaty that they were setting up before. But you know what? I'm gonna end it there. I mean, the interest of time and everything. I mean, the point is that as far as like the Spirit had me titled The Elephant in the Room, The nuclear missiles is a real thing, all right, and that's going to always keep coming up. It's never going to just go away because, as we read, the Lord created the waste to destroy, and then it tells you, Jeremiah. Matter of fact, I bring out that was one of the scriptures that first came to me when I seen this article. Was Jeremiah. Of course, the 50th and the 51st chapter. Well, I mean, of course, the whole book of Jeremiah is heavy, it's prophetic, from the 49th chapter and everything. But just to read through a few key points, just to close it out. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 2. It says, "Declare ye among the nations and publish, and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. In the spirit of the Lord, conceal not, meaning don't hold back. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, from the head elder apostles on down to the men of GMS, we ain't been holding back, man. Conceal not. Babylon is taken, right? And America is the modern day Babylon. And the Lord said Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces, meaning the gods of Babylon, because Babylon had, the scriptures tell you that the gods of the nations are idols, right? That they held in esteem. So meaning the Most High destroyed the so-called white man and all their images. It said her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. All right, all of them, even down to Caesar Borgia. Now, Caesar Borgia ain't as popular as he was before. I mean, still, he still works on a few, like, a bunch of, some of the Latin tribes, some of the old nigger tribes, but a lot of people, even other white people, they got to say, yeah, no, well, even though they go off, they say, well, Jesus Christ couldn't have been white. I mean, look at the region he lived in. He had to be, which is not about the region that determines your color, man. All right, is your actual lineage and your ancestry, all right, if you come of people from color, you see, and the pigmentation that the Most High gives you, that gives you your color. And when you look at the records, the Lord, Yahushua, was a dark-skinned man, all right? So now these, through the spirit of the Lord, having his prophets out here constantly pushing that out there, that it's established, to the point you could Google Yahushua, right? Or Black Christ or whatever, and you see a dark-skinned image of the Lord come up. And then also, too, Satan, does some other satanic images come up, too, just because, this is, Satan's world, man. Scriptures tell you we wrestle against principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. So you're going to always have the Satan factor, all right? It says, for out of the north, they're coming from a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate. And the reason why out of the north dealing with Russia, right? The reason why the Most High is putting that spirit on her to what? To the constantly increasing their missiles in the United States. Because why? The Lord is going to use those missiles to make, but remember, all of the United States is going to be made completely desolate. All right, it tells you in Isaiah the 14th chapter, it's going to be a land for the bittern, owl, desert creatures, basically. It said, and none shall dwell therein. It says, they shall depart both man and beast. In those days at that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, the real children of Israel, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord their power. And that's what we're doing now. We're returning back into the Lord our power. Okay? We're returning back to the Lord our power. It says, they shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. And like I was speaking about earlier, one of the shepherds, and this is not just Johanna. You got Nate. I don't hear Nate speaking about the mark of the beast or what's going on with this coronavirus. Actually, he's telling people to get vaccine, if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember. From one of the videos. Yeah, no, he did, but I'm talking about what I remember. I seen the video from my own self. He told the chick, and he said, yeah, we had to get vaccinated, shots for malaria, this, that, and the third. So it said, my people have been lost sheep. And when you see and you see some of the questions that so-called brothers, so-called sisters acts that have been around for a while, you're like, damn, you still that lost? Especially with the thing of the mark of the beast, which there's no excuse for nobody not to know it, because the Spirit of the Lord been having, from Apostle Tar on down, we've been going hard, explaining it, going into the scriptures on it, going into the information that's out there on it, and you know, the whole spill. You understand? But the Lord said what? Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. So that's why they're gonna die, but their shepherds are gonna die a worse death. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Yeah, which is the truth. All right. You got a lot of brothers or a lot of groups out there that forgot the foundation, which is the word. Okay, Yahweh Shai, the scriptures. All right. All that found them have devoured them, and the adversary said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations. And again, remember, this Babylon is speaking about America. All right. It says, from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. And again, remember, the arrows are speaking about what? The nuclear missiles. All right? The nuclear missiles are going to be shot off like arrows of a mighty expert man. Because you had Archer, which is an archer, right? Archers always hit their targets, man. An archer is nice with it. Well, the ultimate archer is the Most High. That's why he said they're not going to return in vain. You see? So, again, that elephant in the room, the nuclear missiles, they are going to, as we reading, it said, the arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. All right? It says, in Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because ye were glad, because you rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. The Lord's heritage is who? Israel. Who destroyed the Lord's heritage? Who told them that they were a bunch of niggas, that they were Africans, they were spicks, wetbacks, spooks, Americans? Who taught them that? Who taught them that they got to follow sweet Jesus, white Christ? Who taught them that nonsense? Huh? Who taught them that, look, you're African, your God is the African gods and Africanism and Kemet and Egyptology? Who taught these niggas this bugged out shit that they're into? All right, at the end of the day, it goes back to these devils. It says, because you were glad. And how were they glad? In the good old happy days, man. On them auctioning blocks and trading blocks. You know, the American apple pie, things was all good. Trump said, make America great. And we all know what time he was talking about. So the Lord said, you rejoice, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, from when they put us in slavery. Because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as the bulls. And that's literally, you know, these devils got big and fat as hell, and they live, I mean, really it goes into them living high off of the land. They live in the best places, the best areas. They don't got to deal with the contaminated poison water, lead paint that we used to have to inject and be eating from the windowsills when Jake was, you know what I'm saying, young, back in the, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s, growing up. It says, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be at a wilderness. See, look what the Lord said about America. It's going to be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow. The bow goes into the nuclear silos, man. Because that's where the missile, which is the arrow, is shot from. It said, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, spare no missiles, man. Then it tells you in Joel, the 2nd chapter, how all these missiles are going to come right up and break down their whole defense system. They all going to hit their target. For she hath sinned against the Lord. You see? Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord. This is the time that we're in. That's why Esau likes to keep this in the back burner. They don't like to bring this to the forefront. because people knew how close. And remember, they got the doomsday clock, which it should be way more than 100 seconds to. It should be probably 10 seconds to midnight. But they don't. Esau don't really, because they know at midnight, they know what that represents. They know that a nuclear holocaust very well represents the ending of their world. They know that the second coming of the Lord, when Yahweh Shai comes back, represents the end of their world. So that's why they're setting up these space programs, right? What is it now? The 6th Infantry of the military or something like that. That's why they're setting these things up, because they know when the Lord comes back, he's coming back to destroy them, man. He said he's going to beat them in the powder. He's going to literally smoke these devils. See all this high-tech aircraft fighters that they got and everything? The Lord said he's going to literally smoke them. You see? So this is the times we in are very heavy times, man. That's why so many things are happening, and really the elect are the only ones the Lord is going to bring through this, and that's why we give diligence to make our calling and election sure, to hope that the Most High have mercy on us, because we see these things, man. So we do everything within our power. I mean, we ain't perfect, but we trying our best to be perfect, man. As perfect as we could be, right? And the longer that we're here, the more perfect we become. Hopefully, we should. It says I'm gonna leave it right there. The point is made. The point is made. I mean, the whole chapter. You can read the whole chapter. It goes into this whole World War III, which is going to be capped off by the nuclear destruction. But I'm gonna end it right there. Like this is you can go on this topic all day long. All day long. But hopefully you brothers and the few sincere, if there be any sincere sisters out there, were edified. As always, all praises and glory go to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.